wasn't even sure why I was still playing this game. It was past 11 at night, and although I didn't have to go to work the next day, I was growing tired. My eyes were especially taking a beating from staring into the tiniest screen of the Game Boy. But I pressed on, fearful that if I tried to save and turn it back off, and somehow it would magically revert to a normal version when I came back to it. The Cubone in the Pokemon house ran up to me, much like the Pikachu that moves around in Pokemon Yellow. Cubone misses its mother. Cubone removed its helmet. Was I reading that right? But the Marowak in the tower had always been treated like Cubone's mother. What did this glitchy Kangaskhan that I found have to do with this little Cubone? And when has a Cubone ever removed its skull helmet? I checked my Pokemon again. Perhaps somehow I selected the Kangaskhan, and all this would be over. Charizard was still gone, and Kangaskhan had been replaced by the Cubone as the only Pokemon in my party. It was a level 25. I selected its stats. Its cries that appeared to be on the screen was garbled and low-pitched, and its whole head area, except for its eyes, were glitched. It had the standard moves: Growl, Bone Club, and Leer. I exited the menu, finding that the Cubone Oversprite was gone, and left the Pokemon house, not even wanting to find out what any of the NPCs there would say about this incident. I tried Route 8 again, and to my relief, I was finally able to leave Lavender Town behind. The music had never really bothered me at all, but after hearing it for the last half hour, the happy walking music of the route would be a welcome comfort. I was denied, met with only silence once I left the town. All the NPCs were missing again, and even the bushes blocking the grassy area were gone, which was a relief, since I didn't have a Pokemon that could cut. Since I seemed to be stuck with this Cubone, I figured I would try it out in battle. I went to the grassy area and moved around until a wild Pidgey appeared. The screen flashed, and the animations continued, but still with no sound or music. The Cubone appeared, breaking the eerie silence with its low cry. The head of its back sprite also glitched. I decided to try its growl, but the game said Cubone ignored orders. Strange. I still had all the badges from using the Game Shark. The Pidgey gave a weak sand attack, and I tried again. Cubone used Bone Club instead. The attack dealt a good bit of damage, and as the Pidgey's HP bar decreased, I watched its sprite become more and more glitched like Cubone's. Cubone continued to refuse orders, or use a different attack instead, but soon it fainted the Pidgey. Cubone hadn't taken much damage, so I kept going, taking on a Growlithe, then a Mankey. The same thing happened. Cubone would ignore me, loaf around, or use a different attack, and each time it did damage, the opposing Pokemon sprite would glitch until it was just a pile of pixels before fainting. And Ekans was up next, meeting the same end. Then nothing. No matter how much I stomped around in that area, nothing attacked. After a little while, I decided to return to Lavender Town, to the Pokemon Center. As I made my way, I began to ponder what was going on. Each time I took on a Pokemon in the wild and beat it, it never showed up again. I felt sad to watch each Pokemon get its sprite damaged by this little orphaned Pokemon. What was happening to them? Was Cubone killing them? Why are you doing this? I asked softly, clutching tighter to the sides of the Game Boy. This may sound crazy, but I was actually relieved to hear the creepy monotonous tune of the Lavender Town theme. Anything was better at that point than the silence. I tried to go into the Pokemon Center, but I was met with the same thud sound. I walked south, the Lavender Town theme giving way to silence again. It was time to experiment with this strange game. I reached the area where Snorlax is normally found, and went to the left through the guardhouse and into the grassy area. This time, the victim was a Drowsy, But rather than attacking it to feint it, I tried to run from it. At first it said, "Can't escape," and then Drowsy used hypnosis on Cubone, putting it to sleep. Again, I tried and was unable to escape, but instead of it jumping straight to Drowsy attacking, the game said Cubone was thrashing about. Even though I was asleep, it dealt damage to the opponent, painting it and returning me again to the overworld. I checked Cubone's stats. It was still asleep. I continued on, coming across a sparrow. I tried to escape again, but Cubone thrashed around, injuring the bird. It was the worst one yet. Instead of simply being glitched, half of its sprite slumped down to a few pixels, as though the side of its body had gone limp. "No, no," I whispered, trying to escape. Cubone woke up from his sleep, and I was able to leave. I wandered through the grass. This was the real test. I gasped as the Spearow appeared. The same Spearow, with the same slumped side and low HP. I couldn't bear to look at that poor Spearow any longer. I never liked Spearow, but even one didn't deserve this. "Stop this! Can't you see you're hurting it?" I suddenly bursted out, overcome with emotion. Tears began to stream down my flushed cheeks as I shook the Game Boy back and forth. "Just stop!" I fell silent as a dialogue box appeared. Cubone ignored orders. Cubone used Bone Club. That finished the Spearow. I hadn't even given it a command. At least, not in the game. Once I returned to the overworld, I decided to check something. With trembling thumbs, I opened the menu and selected Pokedex. It now said that I had seen and owned 143 Pokemon. The slot for Charizard was empty, so was one for Pidgey and Spearow. Each one that Cubone had defeated had disappeared from the Pokedex and the entire game. Strangely, Kangaskhan was also gone. It was now about 2 in the morning by the time I discovered this, but I was wide awake, shivering in the cold silence of the night. I was shaken by all that had transpired, and I just wanted to find a way out. What did Cubone and Kangaskhan have to do with each other? They were both ground types in similar areas to the Kanto Pokedex, and I suppose Cubone looked a little bit like the baby that Kangaskhan usually carried in their pouch. I decided again to consult the all-knowing internet. Perhaps it had nothing to do with the Chandler glitch that I found, but maybe someone else had seen this connection. And then I saw it. Searching Google Images for Cubone, I began to see images people had made, transforming the sprite of Cubone into a baby Kangaskhan. I read further, discovering the theory that Missing No was originally the baby Kangaskhan sprite, removed from the game and replaced with a blocky mass of glitches. While this may not be true, all the connections between Kangaskhan and Cubone that I found were undeniable. The Kangaskhan had been killed, and the Cubone seemed to be seeking vengeance. I wasn't sure if the fact that I had been up so late or that eerie sound to the game, but the idea really got the better of me. An innocent baby Kangaskhan, forced to watch their mother die, waiting for weeks and months on end for the body to decay and the bones to bleach. Finally arriving the day when its mother's head was suitable for it to remove and wear. But this Cubone had removed its helmet when I arrived with its mother and my party. There was something I needed to do to end this. It wasn't the Marowak soul that needed to be put to rest. It was the Cubones. I returned again to Lavender Town and entered the Pokemon Tower. Nothing. I went up each floor, meeting no NPCs or wild Pokemon. I reached the upper levels, but for some reason, I couldn't go up to the top floor. A dark block of pixels filled the area in front of the stairs. I tried to observe it, and all it said was the same thing it does when you look at a trash can in front of a captain on the SSN. Yuck, shouldn't have looked. I could only guess that it was a puddle of blood, or the other putrid remains of the Kangaskhan's body. It was where the Marowak usually attacks in the game. I thumbed through all that I had done in the town, And one last thing came to mind. The only NPC I came across since the whole incident began were the ones at the Pokemon house. I backtracked, my heart pounding as though I had actually descended the Great Tower in real life. I entered the house, 2 regular NPCs along with a Chandler. The 2 regular NPCs were there along with a Chandler. I walked into the Chandler and pressed A.
Why have you brought it back to this place? Don't you know what it did?
I knew she was referring to Cubone. I spoke to her again, but got the same message. I went to the woman in the house and talked to her.
Even Mr. Fuji was unable to calm the monster's rage. It killed him. It will kill all of us. Why? Why?
Things were becoming increasingly fuzzy. My heart pounded in my ears. I was afraid to even look at the clock. Time no longer mattered. All I wanted was to be out of this nightmare. At that point, it had become much more than just a game. I felt like I was the only one who knew about this murder mystery, and I was the only one who could solve it. Why would Cubone kill Mr. Fuji? And why would it join me and kill all the other Pokemon? All because its mother was dead? What did more killing prove? I turned to the last NCP, a male character. You, release it. You showed it which ones to kill. One by one you let it out. And now it's your turn to feel the pain that they felt. I'm sorry. I whispered to the console. A dialogue box appeared. It's too late. It's out, and you'll never be able to get back in. Unless... The game paused. I sat for a moment at the edge of my seat. After a moment, I yelled, "Unless what? Tell me!" I violently shook the Game Boy back and forth, tormented by all of this. It had stopped being a game long ago. Now it was personal. I was being blamed for what the Cubone had done. No matter if this was some sick hacker's practical joke. How could I have done anything? I was just as much as a victim as the psychopathic Cubone's game as Mr. Fuji. And all the wild Pokemon. I never even liked making Pokemon battle. I hated forcing them to fight to level them up. All I ever wanted was to befriend them. To befriend it. What do you want of me? I'll do it! I stopped shaking the handheld and looked at the tiny screen. It seemed like it was getting smaller and dimmer the more I played. Another dialogue box showed up. I could hardly read it for my eyes being so tired and filled with tears. It wants you. You care about it. And it never wants you to leave. I won't! I just want to love it and care for it. I promise I won't make it battle anymore. Please, just make it stop. All this fighting, this killing, it's just wrong. You don't have to do this. The Cubone reappeared in the oval rope beside Riolu. It just turned and seemed to stare at me through the screen. Cubone regrets what it has done. I sniffled and gave a weak smile. It's okay. I'm sorry you had to go through all this. I whispered, caressing the little pixelated creature. That's when I realized it was so hard for me to see. The low battery was shining like an angry red eye. I had played for so long that the batteries were failing. But I hadn't saved since before all this had started. It couldn't just end because of a dead battery. I fumbled with the controls, trying to open up the menu to save. I pressed start until my thumbs were throbbing, but to no avail. Another dialogue box appeared. Cubone knows you still love it. It will wait for you. Good, I whispered. Thinking that by some supernatural means the memory will be saved, and I could come back and visit this virtual friend I had made. The Cubone sprite moved, but it was an odd movement. It seemed as though its head moved from side to side. A line of red pixels appeared below its head. one final dialogue box popped up. Cubone killed itself. A horrible static-filled scream racked my ears as the Game Boy died. It was Cubone's cry, but drawn out and badly garbled. And the volume was tremendous, more than I knew a Game Boy was capable of. I was left in silence then, true silence, unlike any I had ever experienced. It didn't seem to have mattered if I tried to save. Cubone wouldn't have let me. What transpired after that is only a vague memory. I remember feeling so racked with guilt, so sad for Cubone, and just wishing I could be in the game with it. The next thing I remember, I woke up in the hospital. I couldn't speak for the horrible gash in my throat. My husband had said he found me passed out over the bathtub, where the Santogo still grasped in my hand. My neck slid and blood splattered all over the inside of the tub. It had been a miracle that I had survived through all that blood loss. To this day, I still have the scar across my neck, and I have to speak using an electrolarynx. Even if I could talk, I would never have told anyone what had drove me to suicide that night. I wasn't even sure myself. Maybe I couldn't take the sudden silence after the game died. Maybe I just wanted so badly to be with Cubone and comfort it that I wanted to join it. In any case, I didn't want to take my chances of anything like that ever happening again. I put the copy of Red back in its box, and I haven't played a Pokemon game ever since. But I still think about Cubone from time to time, and I do still love Pokemon.